Maybe kind of seaweed things out a little bit. Shake your head, shake your body a little. And take your time as you're ready, coming down onto your mat. You can pause in seated and maybe then roll down onto your back. So make your way onto your back in whatever way works best for you. And once you're on your back, pause and notice what it feels like to have the floor coming up to meet you, holding you there, supporting you. Maybe take a few breaths and notice your body pressing into the floor, rising up from the floor, and then coming back down. When you're ready, pull your knees in towards your chest and give them a little squeeze. Rock from side to side a little if that feels good. Now, keeping your right knee in, extend your left leg down and move your right knee around a little. You can use your hands to do this. Just check in. What's your hip feeling like? We're going to be highlighting tree pose today. So take a moment to find a tree pose lying down. So bring the inside of that right foot somewhere along the sole of your right foot somewhere along the inside of your left leg. And notice how high up does it want to be, how low down. And as you're like this, you may have to really support your leg with the strength of your body. Or maybe it feels okay to let your leg kind of just hang out. But double check and see. Maybe bring your palms together and press them together. And then lift your knee back up, your right knee, pull that back in. Bring the sole of your left foot to the floor, knee pointing up. Flex your right foot and bring that ankle over your left knee. Begin pressing your right knee gently away from your body and notice if you can feel a stretch in your outer right hip. And then you can stay there, or you might consider lifting your left knee up towards your body, using the strength of your low body and core to do this. And you might even resist a little with your right leg. So you're in this version of Suchirandrasana, possibly this unsupported version. And if you're trying that, you might lift and lower that left leg just a couple of times. And you can press your hands into the ground to give you a little more support if that feels good. And the next time you're up, you could continue doing that, or you might pause with your left knee in the air and maybe straighten your left leg and bend it a few times. And as you're doing this, if your lower back is tending to arch, you could really think about pressing that low back down and maybe lowering your hands to the ground, maybe underneath your butt for a little more support there. When you're ready, you can lower your left foot back down to the ground, lower your right foot to the ground, toe heel your feet out and drop them from side to side for a few windshield wipers. Then come back to center. Pull your knees in towards your chest and extend your right leg down to the ground. Move your left leg around a little. Just checking in with that hip. And maybe try tree on this side. So placing the sole of your right foot somewhere along the inside of your left leg. Taking a few breaths here. Just noticing what tree feels like lying down. Maybe you press your hands together in front of your heart, or maybe you lift your arms up in to the air, kind of above your head. And then if your arms are up, you can bring them down. Place your both feet on the ground, knees bent. Flex your left ankle and bring that ankle over your right knee. Same thing here. So we're going to go into whatever version of Sushirandrasana suits you on this side. So you might go through all those steps of like pressing your knee away and then deciding if you want to lift your leg and then deciding if you want to straighten your leg. So take just a few moments to really explore it on this side. And really notice, is it different on this side than it is on the first side? That's very often the case for many people. And even as you're moving in this position where you might feel a lot of compression in your body, can you breathe pretty freely? As you're ready, bring both feet back down to the ground. Take a deep breath, sigh it out. And take your time coming up into a seated position from here. However that works best for you. Once you're seated, extend your right leg out. Bring the sole of your left foot somewhere along the inside of your extended leg. And notice for you, does it feel better down low on the leg or up high? And notice, how does your knee feel in this position? So if your knee is very unhappy sometimes, not having so much of a bend, and sometimes placing a cushion under your knee can help. So we're in Janu Shirshasana here. See if you can sit up tall and then decide if you'd like to fold forward. And your knee doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but maybe try flexing your foot here and just noticing, what does that do for the posture? And you can move around a little as you're holding this position. Sometimes I think that movement can really tune us into all of the little things that are happening, all the little sensations, where the stretches are, where any discomfort lies. As you're ready, if you're folded forward, you can come back up to an upright position and then switch sides. This time, left leg out, right foot along the inside of that left leg. And do the same thing here. If you need to place something under your knee to make it feel better, go ahead and do that. Decide where along your leg you want your foot to be, and do you want to fold forward? And if so, how much fold do you want to bring into this? Because you're already in that kind of 90-degree fold. And again, you might consider flexing your foot. noticing how that makes the posture feel different. As you're ready, if you're folded forward, come back up and come into tabletop. So as always, your version of tabletop, if that's on hands and knees, great. If it's on fists and knees, great. And if you want to place blocks under your forearms or under your hands, whatever works best for you. But once you're in tabletop, drop your stomach down, lift your tail, lift your chin, come into cow pose, Uttanasana, and then move into cat pose, Marjarasana. And move between cat and cow at your own pace for just a few moments. If you enjoy syncing your breath with your movement, you might inhale on the cow and exhale on the cat. If you feel like bringing a little lateral movement in, you might send your hips over to one side, send your trunk over to one side, and then maybe over to the other side. And just find a little free form movement.